Like that, did you?
Oh, I like me some old Sabbath.
All right,
Absolutely.
let me do the rest of the intro first. Hang on.
Okay,
Five,
do your thing.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The arguments begin now.
Well, good evening, everybody. How about a little Ozzy to get the old blood pumping today for the argument?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
When I opened the mic or the channel back up, I looked on there and I see you going. I thought, yeah, I got him. I can't cut that short now.
I'm like, I don't know if they can see it or not, but I'm doing it because that's just what you have to do.
That's right. Anyway, so what's new?
Well, as I already told you, just trying to finish up the bathroom remodel and got a new job. Loving it. Other than that, just normal business every day.
Yeah, I hear that. I just remembered when I went into before the show here. I just remember I got solar panels coming tomorrow. They're gonna drop them off.
Oh God, you're gonna be green. What are you gonna do? Put up solar panels just to run your computers?
No, it's just gonna be to save myself about $100 a month in electric.
I'll be like, hey, what you gonna do when it's cloudy? Your computer won't work no more. But
yeah,
whatever.
The deal they give you isn't bad. I'm getting 37 panels, and they're putting it in and everything. No out of pocket money at all. We've already been approved for the thing, and from what they were saying, it will take off 74% of my electric bill for the year. It's the high usage months, like now you'll get about a 20% of what you used to pay the bill for that, but I think it comes out to like $200 a month, which considering I'm paying just over $300 a month for electric, that's gonna be
holy crap.
Yeah,
I don't pay that much for all my utilities.
I know, but you ain't got
Welcome to Akron.
You ain't got 6 computers, 2 televisions, spotlights, cameras, action, and all that. It's about normal for me. It's about two. It usually runs between 275 and 300 a month. And if you take that,
God bless you.
Take that down to $200 a month, that ain't gonna be bad.
God bless you.
And it's a 25-year.
I should hit $200 a month. I'm bitching.
It's gonna take me down to $200 a month for the electric, which ain't bad. But
my cameras run on batteries. It cost me like $30 to get like 27 of them, and I just put batteries in my cameras, and I'm cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't get to the ones I've got.
Mine aren't wired in,
Mine are all wired, just so that I can. I got one up on the roof. I can look down to the.
Well, yeah, you do the whole weather thing and all
I
that.
Got stuff that monitors the front of the house.
I'm just trying to make sure ain't nobody trying to roll in my door,
And I have the Ring doorbell, and that the door cam. That thing works all right. I can at least see who's at the door. And if I don't want them talking or if I don't want them coming in, I just tell them, you ain't coming in here. Anyway, I digress. Was kind of trying to figure out how we were going to handle this tonight. I'd kind of like to go into the flooding first, I think. Then there is another thing that you brought up, the Epstein thing. I don't want to go into the politicals and whose fault and who's not and all that. But I think we should discuss if they're coming out and when and if they even exist. And I found a clip that's about 5 or 6 minutes long for that. I think if it's like I think it is, it should be pretty much cover the topic that we want to talk there. So what's up? What do you want to go do first?
Well, you said you wanted to go into the flood, so let's
we can do the flood.
Let's roll in.
I've got two actual clips of this. I don't know how long they are. I think one's about 5 minutes, the other one's 2 or 3. But they go into the flooding, and then good old Kristi Noem calls their computer system antique, and I think that'll be the jumping off point for me.
Okay.
And then because I'm tired of unless I actually see something that he said that I don't like. I just like there was one thing he said that I did like. That was something like,
they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
You know what?
I love that.
You know what I love about this is how every time you want to say something, you quote my man Donald Trump. I love it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because
they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Who he was talking about, they don't know what the fuck they were doing. And you know what? He could probably say that every day of his damn life, and he probably does. But we don't always get to hear it like we got to that time. So
that's why
preach on, brother.
That's why I paid for that clip.
Preach on, brother. Because I love that. I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard a president do something like that. And I was like, yeah, that's my boy. I mean, let's just keep it real for a minute. Let's just keep it real.
All the way.
What you're doing.
All the reason or all the time that he's saying stuff like that, this is what he's thinking.
You can't handle the truth.
That's what he's thinking when he says
they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
He's thinking, and you can't handle the truth. Because if we knew the truth.
Once again, I would just say, Republican in training.
If we all knew the truth, we'd all be in trouble.
Republican in training, and God bless. God bless.
Yeah.
You've seen a little bit of the light. Hopefully the light completely turns on and you see the rest.
It ain't never gonna change, Dale. I'll still have my opinions and you'll still have yours.
Well, you can have all the opinions you want, but I watch your opinions evolving and changing as we continue this show. You're less liberal.
Some of that's just the fact that I get tired of hearing it. I get tired of hearing it.
You want to call it, I'm getting old. Bullshit.
I get tired of hearing the same old shit. And that a lot of times, if you took 5 different channels, news-wise or whatever, and went to each one of them would have a different story. And each one of them would be talking about the same thing. And I get tired of that shit. If you look at it the way I do, I've lived on this planet for 71 years now. The president never had one inkling on anything that I've done or that I had done in the past. And I lived my life now you're so oversaturated with this butthead. oh, he's good, and he's going to do this, and he don't know what the fuck they're doing, and this and that, and I get so tired of that. It gets to the point I don't watch the damn news anymore. I'll tell you what I do.
You should have quit doing that a long time
I,
ago.
I watch these things about HOAs. You ought to see some of the stuff that they put out there.
Oh, that shit's funny.
Yeah,
Yes, that shit's funny.
did you ever see the guy with a red beard, a tall dude with?
Now, I mean, I haven't been like deep into it, but like playing around in the reels when I'm on Facebook,
that's where
once in a while some of that shit will pop up, and it's that the stupid shit that oh, your children are too loud. It's like, really, they're kids.
We're gonna fine you for
playing.
This box has been sitting on your porch for 20 minutes. We're gonna fine you $1 a minute from here on in.
It's stupid bullshit, and
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'd rather watch that than politics. It's funnier. although there are times when politics can be funny.
Like last night, I got a game I play for a little while because I try to catch up I got to make sure I keep up on my points. You got certain things you have to do every day. And then when you get done, like last night, I knew I didn't have to work today. Hell, I was up till 5 o'clock this morning watching Ralphie May. The dude is freaking hilarious. And I watched an hour and a half show. I had started it the other day. I watched about 20 minutes, half hour of it, and I watched the last hour.
Is he the one that talks about the
absolutely hilarious?
Is he the one that talks about the buffet?
No.
That guy's last name was
This
May.
guy is just off the chain. You're thinking of no, it's not Fluffy. I know who you're talking about. He looks sort of Asian.
Yeah. And he's a big dude.
He does the whole thing about, you eat Florida baby seal. Florida baby seal, you go now.
You go home now. You've been here for hours.
Yes. That guy is absolutely hilarious. Dude.
I think his last name was May.
Much new stuff come out from him, but then I haven't really, because I don't remember his name, researched him. But Ralphie May just did some new shows, so I've been like popping around watching those, and I found it so entertaining. The dude is a freaking trip. He's talking about, race divides and the things that are going on in the country, and he does it funny, but he does it in a way that you kind of understand that a lot of it is bullshit. He's a really good comedian. He really is.
There was a guy that the last one that I saw that we actually had on the station here was I think it's Dave Smiley, and this he's clean humor, and he tells stories about what goes on between him and his wife, and what goes on when he goes to different gigs to actually work as a comedian. And we had him on, Eric and I had him on one time. The dude was quite educated and he was funny as hell. I will give credit where credit's due there. Eric found this guy, and he reached out to him and asked him to be on the show, and he came on. It's pretty good. He was pretty funny. If you ever want to look him up, it's Dave Smiley. And not to give him any credit, but he's a friend of the show, so we will.
Give him credit. Shit.
Anyway, let's take and do this flooding thing. Get this out of the way quick.
All right.
And the first clip I've got is actually shows you what actually went down there. This material is about a little over a week old, so it may not be completely up to date, but you'll get the gist of what's happened anyway. And then
I'll let you know how it happened.
Yeah, I want to educate everybody on what exactly happened. And then the second part is Christy Nome talking about the Weather Service, which kind of
That's I understand.
That kind of got on my nerves. But let's roll these things. We'll be back after both of them.
Oh, hold on. Before we
what?
progress, I want everybody to know that this man is the president of Summit County Skywarn, who deals with the NWS on a regular basis,
almost daily.
So
basis.
there is a small amount of, I would guess, bias in there, but we'll see how the clips unfold.
Well, I'll go into why I feel like I do with this young lady. I
didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I think that
once you see these two clips,
you have some skin in the game.
You'll understand where I'm coming from. So let's roll these. We'll be back in a little bit. Hang in with us. You're watching the radio. You're watching the Radioactive Show. No, not quite.
This ain't no radio.
Actually, that was a plug. Don't tell anybody. You're watching the
shameless plug.
You're watching the Art of Argument on the Crooked River Network. We'll be right back.
Central Texas is swamped by a summer's worth of rain in a matter of hours. Dozens are rescued from fast-moving water. Some could not be saved.
This came at night when people were asleep in bed. Please pray for our community.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jerika Duncan, in tonight for Maurice Dubois and John Dickerson. We begin with the catastrophic floods in central Texas. Some areas have been swamped by more than 15 inches of rain since yesterday. Near San Antonio, the Guadalupe River overflowed and unleashed a torrent of water. Among the missing are a group of girls from a sleepaway camp. The lieutenant governor there of Texas, Dan Patrick, says the bodies of children and adults have been recovered. Across the region, dozens of people have been rescued from flooded homes and roads. Several more inches of rain are expected later tonight. Jason Allen leads us off in our coverage in Kerrville, Texas. Jason, what is the latest in terms of the response from those rescues and search operations?
Jerika, there are still helicopters tonight that are flying up and down the Guadalupe River. Officials have confirmed they have found 13 people to this point who have died after these floods. There are still more than 20 girls missing from one of those camps you mentioned, which is upriver. This is still a rescue mission, though, at this point, with first responders hoping to find more survivors.
That river rose 26 feet in 45 minutes.
Overnight, 12 inches of rain fell within an hour, turning Kerr County into a catastrophic flood zone. First responders launched dozens of rescues along the swollen Guadalupe River, flooding several children's summer camps. Dan Patrick is the acting Texas governor.
Out of the over 700, we have the number of about 23 not accounted for.
This helicopter swooped in and rescued a young camper from the top of a tree. Photos from inside one of the camps show children being evacuated.
We will do everything humanly possible 24/7, looking at every tree, turning over every rock, whatever it takes, if your child is one of those truly missing it.
Torrents of floodwaters ripped away cars and this house with people inside.
We do not have a warning system.
Rob Kelly is the Kerr County judge.
We had no reason to believe that this was going to be anything like what's happened here. None whatsoever.
This concrete pad was part of an RV park, and the owner told me they were lined up along the riverbank for the 4th of July holiday, but there was no warning for them to get out in time, and all of them washed down the river.
Residents were told to evacuate and move to higher ground. Barry Adelman was staying at his grandmother's home by the Guadalupe River when he was jolted awake by the sound of water.
The scariest part for me is seeing the children and the moms and dads in the trees, and knowing that they were hurt and without some of their loved ones.
From the house, Adelman took this photo of a family friend clinging to a tree.
She told us she was floating down the river with her husband, and her husband kept telling her to grab anything you can grab, and she did. And she said, Barry, I caught the last tree, the very last tree right on your property.
That woman's husband is still missing. The scar marks on the trees here, 25 to 30 feet high, that's where RVs and homes were hitting them as they washed down the river.
All right, Jason Allen for us, thank you so much. And here to explain how the flooding disaster unfolded is CBS News Bay Area Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan. Paul, when you think about the amount of rain that fell in such a short amount of time, I mean, it is truly remarkable.
It is remarkable, Jerika, what the atmosphere can do. And it's not just that it's too much rain. It's too much rain in too short a period of time onto a landscape that just cannot absorb that volume of moisture. You can see the storms in the radar replay training over the Texas Hill Country over and over again, adding up to amounts well in excess of what the forecast models were predicting. 8 to 10 inches of rain on a widespread basis. Some spots over 15 inches of rain, months worth of rain, much of it falling at night. It's just a recipe for a disaster. And unfortunately, we are in for more rain as we head through the next 24 hours. We'll switch over to Futurecast. The bulk of this next round of rain is going to be focused a little closer to San Antonio, but still any additional rainfall is going to have these folks on edge. Jerika?
All right. Thanks, Paul. We'll check back in with you a little bit later.
I live in Kerrville. Why was the National Weather Service not pinging our phones before 7 o'clock this day of 4th of July? And either federal people can answer that maybe for us. I got updates at 7 o'clock. First one I heard. And I've heard updates throughout the week, but not before 7 o'clock in the morning. Wasn't that a fundamental failure of the federal government's responsibility to keep us safe?
Well, you know, my background is before I was in the secretary position here under the Trump administration, I was governor of South Dakota and served in Congress for 8 years before I was governor. And so I will tell you that for decades, for years, everybody knows that the weather is extremely difficult to predict, but also that the National Weather Service over the years at times has done well, and at times we have all wanted more time and more warning and more alerts and more notification. That is something, and one of the reasons that when President Trump took office that he said he wanted to fix, and is currently upgrading the technology, and the National Weather Service has indicated that with that and NOAA that we needed to renew this ancient system that has been left in place with the federal government for many, many years, and that is the reforms that are ongoing there. The timeline that I have, I don't oversee the National Weather Service, that's not under my department, but the timeline that I did receive from them was that the notifications started to look at its expansion for its limited flood impacts area that started on July 3rd at 1:18 p.m. The flood watch was issued. Although it was moderate, it wasn't to the extremes that it was, that when the system came over the area that it stalled, it was much more water, much like I think we experienced during Harvey, the same type of system that was unpredictable in the way that it reacted and the way that it stopped right here and dumped unprecedented amounts of rain that caused a flooding event like this. They continued to elevate and up their notifications. You know, when your notification hit your phone, sir, I'm sorry, I can't speak to when that is, but I do carry your concerns back to the federal government and to President Trump, and we will do all we can to fix those kinds of things that may have felt like a failure to you and to your community members. But we know that everybody wants more warning time, and that's why we're working to upgrade the technologies that have been neglected by far too long to make sure that families have as much advanced notice as possible. But
One more question, folks. Can you please speak to this?
All right, now.
I can already see the direction this is going to go, but
What do you think when you see something like that?
Like what?
Like that Christie Nome thing. Knowing what was happening with that flooding. Do you
knowing what I know? I would say first off, you did hear the woman mention, and I don't know why they threw her out there to speak, but she's like, "This is not my department. I'm not the one who deals with these things, but I'm out here speaking to you. So I don't think you can blame her. But what I can tell you is I have heard several times that for several years now, especially that county has been talking about putting a flood warning system in, and they've never done it. So the state government let alone the county government, had dropped the ball in this situation, and everybody wants to blame the federal government because, well, Donald Trump is the president. So I think we need to
I disagree with that.
You know, I mean, I don't think it's it's Kristi Noem's fault. No, I don't think that.
I think it's a federal issue.
I do not.
Because of
the
fact
state is there to protect their people.
Now let me tell you how I see this.
The federal government comes in to clean up the mess.
The federal government should have known it was going to happen to begin with when they laid off them 600 people from that weather office.
Hey, if the NWS was doing their fucking job, then I guess they would have known that was going to happen.
Dale.
And I knew we were going to get into this, and I knew that this was going to be a little point with you. But, you know, you watch the weathermen on TV, you watch the weather, the things that you see and the things that you hear, 99% of the time are not 100% accurate. And nor do I think they should be. But all in all, it's going to pour down rain and you got sunny skies. Or you got sunny skies and all of a sudden it pours down rain, but you have no warnings where you're at. And then you wind up with a tornado. So something along the line is awry. And I've watched this for several years now, not just in the last couple days or months or whatever. The weather predictions have been absolutely horrible. I have to say that.
They've gotten worse in the last year.
President Trump made the NWS
because ever since he
fuck up.
Now wait a minute.
I mean, come on.
Let me tell you what I know. That weather office in Texas was manned, and it had what they called a warning. It was a warnings coordinator. Well, a weather warnings coordinator. He got laid off. He had 27 years of experience. He got laid off, so they put some newbie in his place. That's the responsibility of your warnings coordinator.
Did they put a newbie in his place, or is that just something you're saying?
They put somebody new in his
place. Because you're adding to the story.
Let's just put it this way. He was far less experienced than that guy that they laid off. You can do that. You can do your own research on that. I know that's a fact. And on top of this, you've laid off, you pretty much over the last, and like I said, I'm not blaming Trump himself, but it was Doge or whatever you want to call it, laid off 600 people out of the Weather Service. And I'm not talking about just in the lower categories. The Cleveland had, they had Gary Garnett. Was there for going on 25 or 30 years. He decided to quit because of it. He knew what was coming. He knew the cuts were coming. Oh, I'm going to retire. Hell with it. And off he goes. So what you have to do from that point, you take and you shift somebody else into the lead point because they're not going to hire somebody to replace him. You shift your warnings coordinator over into the lead meteorologist position and put somebody in with lesser qualifications as the warnings coordinator. Now, does this make a difference? You bet your ass it does, because that guy's not going to know everything that guy before him knew. Those guys, the warning coordinator, actually is supposed to talk with the press. He's supposed to talk with his spotters, like it is around here, and I'm sure they've got down there. You're talking to FEMA. You're talking to Aries and everybody else, trying to keep everybody on top of what's going to happen. I hate to say this, but when it comes down to it, the layoffs were what caused a bunch of that. Yes, it is. Sorry.
I disagree.
The layoffs were.
I disagree.
The layoffs were responsible.
Long before.
The layoffs were part of it. You can.
I'm not.
You can disagree with me or
what,
whatever, but the layoffs were part of it.
I'm not saying that wasn't
it's a damn
part of it,
shame
but
because
the weather forecasting has not been right for several years now. And if the news channels can't get it right and the NWS can't get it right, then, what's happened is you've had the NWS putting out a lot of false flags in the back.
Have you ever
You're going to get this, you're going to get it. So now when people get these warnings on their cell phones, they're ignoring them because 25 times they got something and what they received was total bullshit. And now this time the NWS got it right, but they ignored it. And
they didn't get it right. They didn't have enough people there to get it right.
They had plenty of. We're not talking about the last.
I'm talking experience.
I'm talking years.
I'm talking experience here.
Years here. I'm talking about years. Not since President Trump was elected, which you would like to feel that that's the problem. I'm talking long before then. There were problems with the forecasting of weather. Now, for whatever issue, I don't know. But there has been problems with the forecast. You put up your own forecast. And hell, half the time you're fucking wrong. Just like everybody else. And you think you're Dick Goddard. And,
no, I don't.
And
I never professed to be him.
You still don't.
I know enough about the weather that I
always
can
get it right. And neither do they. Neither do they. And they're actually trained professionals. You're a guy that has studied on your own. These guys have been to school for this shit and are really supposed to know. And you're not getting the forecasts that is accurate. When you're inaccurate for so many times, people tend to blow off what they're hearing from you. It's like the kid that cried wolf. And then that one time when you actually get it right, they're like, okay, whatever. Ain't gonna fucking rain today. And they blow it off. And the next thing you know, they're twisted off in a fucking tornado because somebody actually got it right. So there needs to be a stronger accuracy in what is going on.
And like I said,
it has nothing to do with the Donald Trump cuts. It was going on before that.
You're not going to get that with when you're laying off people. You're never going to get accuracy because you're switching.
Well, you didn't have that before. That's what I'm trying to say.
I would say you could. I'll give you 35 to 40%. 35 to 40% of what you said is more than likely true. But if you've watched it like I have in the last 20-some years, there's different things that point you in directions. And Dick Goddard, you referred to Dick Goddard.
I just was throwing out a name.
Goddard.
That's all that was.
Dick Goddard once said, if you're going to try to predict the snow, when you go to predict snow or rain, it's like going up to the International Space Station with a pin, a straight pin, and throwing it out the window and predicting within 5 feet of where it's going to land. That's it. And I actually heard him at one time or another say that. It's a science, but it's not an accurate science. Now, getting over when you start talking about accuracies like that, you can tell when people switch around. I see it every day in with what I deal with. Have you ever looked at the 1, 2, and 3 day maps of the forecast maps?
I used to have it on my computer.
On NOAA.gov. You could, last year, they were putting those out about they would alter them about every 3 or 4 hours. And that actually comes from NOAA out there in the Storms Prediction Center out in Oklahoma. Okay. When you, the fact that it's as hard as it is to do, their accuracy up until last year it wasn't perfect, I'd give it that, but they were redoing the maps about every 3 or 4 hours, which if they were inaccurate, they could predict 3 or 4, 6 hours out and make it accurate when they did the next update. They haven't been doing updates except for a couple times a day. That's why you're getting some of the confusion that you're getting with the storms around here, because they're not updating them as much.
We were getting the confusion before. That's what I think I'm not getting through to you on.
It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. It isn't what it is now.
No better, no worse than it is now.
I'd say it's worse.
I mean,
because they're not drawing the maps in every 5 or 6 hours like they were.
When you're talking about this flood, you had this, like I said, this county that was talking about putting a flood warning system in for several years, and they've never done it. So I'm not going to blame the NWS, because they did put out a warning 3 hours prior. Okay. But these people did not have a warning system to trigger to allow these people. Now, one, it is in the middle of the night, but if you hear a loud freaking siren in the middle of the night, you're probably going to react to it. But there was none of that. So why were these things not in place? So I go back to the governor of the state. Who dropped the ball? Did he drop the ball, or did the NWS drop the ball? Well, the NWS warned you 3 hours prior, and you either ignored it, and then there was no warning system. So now you got 27 young children that are possibly deceased because of this unfortuitous, situation of events. I mean, so it doesn't matter who's to blame. It's a question of how do we fix it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. As far as
you fucking kill.
As far as the you can either be proactive or reactive in weather. The proactive would have been to put that system in. The reactive would have been not to put it in and try to figure out why it's not. That's what they're doing. It's a knee-jerk reaction down there now. You've got people dead all over the damn place, and that were flooded.
Right, you had a lot of people that lost their lives.
You wiped out 3 or 4 different trailer parks. My God, what a mess! And they're still missing 176 people, I think.
And it could have been prevented.
But who's going to prevent
at.
it? Who's going to prevent it? And where's the money going to come from? There you go. Where's the money going to come from?
Or from what I've
read, the federal government says, "Oh, we're not going to put
government.
The federal government. You've got an antique system. Well, we're not going to do anything to help you."
The federal government was going to give them the system.
Oh, horseshit!
And they just never did it.
Well, whose fault's that?
So, I mean, now, what do you got?
Whose fault's that? You're going to blame it on Congress? You're going to blame it on Trump? You're going to blame it?
I'm going to blame it on them for not actually asking for it. That's all they had to do.
How do you know they didn't?
They said that the federal government would cover any expenses that they didn't have to complete the storm warning system.
I never heard anything like that.
And they did not do it.
I never heard anything like that.
Well, that's because you watched the wrong news channels. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, come on. I mean, you want to blame the federal government? I'm like, no. We need to blame the state government first because they're
got
the
nothing to do with the weather.
And the state,
if
and
anybody
the
should be blamed, it should.
They dropped the ball.
If anybody should be blamed, it's the people that are running the FEMA, because they're the ones that would have had to procure that loan or that money. Did you ever think about that?
Well, FEMA.
What is FEMA? What is the Federal Emergency Management?
But FEMA is who comes in after a disaster happens.
No, FEMA.
We're talking about
no. You're misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding. FEMA is in charge when you have a siren go off. FEMA is in charge of that and the rules for it. That is a well-known fact in the weather.
Okay.
I can.
All right.
Do you remember? Let me take you back here a little bit. Do you remember when they were setting sirens off when they started merging these police departments into call centers? Do you remember when the Barberton, every time there was some weather up in Twinsburg, the Barberton sirens, the Norton sirens would go off, and it wasn't within 40 miles of them? At that point, when this was all going on, there was a safety official from Stowe that I knew. His name's Walt. And I got talking to him one evening about it. He's a ham. I haven't seen him in a number of years, but I still think he's around. But he was a safety commissioner for Stowe. Him and I got talking one night. And I said, man, something's got to be done with these things. And he says, yeah. He says, I agree with you. He says, you probably ought to take it up with the NWS. I said, all right. I'll get a hold of them. I said, if you want to come to a coordinators meeting with me, you can. So we go up there. Now the coordinators meeting in March of that year. And we go up there, and of course we go through all the issues. And it came my turn. And I said, I said, I brought a guest here tonight to talk about the way these weather sirens are going off. And I said, we need to know why the National Weather Service isn't doing something about this. Well, we're not responsible for it. I said, if you let this continue, it's going to be like, and what you just said, it's going to be like somebody crying wolf for the 2 or 3 times. I said, people will get tired of it and they ain't going to listen to it. Okay, then we leave there. The NWS pretty much says, we're not responsible for that. It's the EMA. All right, fine. So about a year goes by, and the same shit was happening all the time. All of a sudden, Joplin, Missouri happens. The tornado that they had out there that killed a bunch of people, ripped up property left and right. Okay. This happens. The warnings coordinator, which was Gary Garnett for Cleveland, ends up out in Joplin, Missouri, doing surveys for, they had to do surveys for the Weather Bureau. One of the questions on that survey, why didn't you pay attention to the sirens? And when he come back from Missouri, he gets at a meeting and he starts describing this. He says, I hate to admit this. He says, but somebody that brought these sirens up last year was completely right. And he says, I went out to Missouri to help with the damage assessment. And he says, I ended up he says, we did this survey and it said, why didn't you pay attention to the sirens? The number one answer was, those damn things go off all the time. Why the hell should we listen to them? True fact. Okay. At the end of his little spiel about all of this, he says, we have the NWS agency here has reached out to the Ohio FEMA, and we're going to do what we can to get this fixed. All of a sudden, within 2 months, you never had another siren go off like that. Here recently, they've combined another 2 or 3 more. And here recently, every once in a while, you'll get a report like that. But what it come down to is FEMA was the one that was in control of that, and FEMA had to do something, and they weren't asked about it. They weren't asked about it at all. And if it wouldn't have been for my interaction, we'd still be listening to those sirens going off like that. There was nothing, there was no two ways about it. And this is why you can compare this with what happened out there in Texas, because basically their FEMA should have asked for those sirens. They should have asked for that warning system. Did they? I don't know. Do you?
No.
I have no idea.
I just know that they, I was alleged. Well, I saw that they had the ability to get them, and they did not.
Well, somebody
that is as far as I can go. The ins and outs of it, I can't really speak on that because I'm not educated on that. But I can say that is what was portrayed to me. Whether it be right or wrong, that is what was portrayed to me.
Well, as far as I see this stuff, when you sit in a chair like I do for the last 30 years or more, 91, 34 years now I've been doing
it. You've been sitting in a chair longer than that.
And
that Tomater had a chair.
I've been
sitting in a chair for a long time.
I've been sitting in the Skywarn chair for 34 seasons now. And you see a lot. I learn stuff all the time. But because of my doing, I do my volunteer job is I teach people weather. I teach what they should report on a repeater. I teach them what they should call in on the phone about and everything else. Most hams don't.
I ran it in my house.
No, most hams don't. Most of the hams don't. They use the radios to report. But somebody else want to know about it, I teach them too. Simple fact of it is, though, in most of this government, like it is everywhere else in the country, if the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the most grease, and if I was being the squeaky wheel, and that was how we got results. Especially when the NWS saw that, hey, maybe he is right. Maybe they are thinking we call wolf. Oh well. Anyway, like I said, when she referred to the National Weather Service warning system as antique or whatever the hell she said it was, she would, as far as I'm concerned, she was a part of the government that was saying, oh, it's not my fault. I didn't do that. Well, somebody did. It's not my fault. It's not my responsibility.
You're stretching.
It's not my. It's not my responsibility to say anything.
Your end game is to blame this on Donald Trump.
Oh no, I did.
And that's exactly where you're going.
I am not blaming Trump.
If Donald Trump hadn't done this, those people wouldn't have died. If Donald Trump, No. It's
bullshit.
Not that at all. It's the whole system is not quite right. You have the NWS dropping the ball with the how they forecast the weather. You have the news channels dropping the ball with how they forecast the weather. You have the county and the state dropping the ball with not putting up proper warning systems, but yet we want to continue to blame the federal government for what happened.
Well, whose
And
fault is it?
I think that is a stretch. I truly do.
Whose fault do you think it is? So was it the state?
You know, the federal government isn't the cure-all. What did Ronald Reagan say? You know, we're the federal government and we're here to help you. That's the last thing you ever want to hear. Because that is the last thing you ever want to hear.
And
we should be taking care of ourselves.
And
that's what the United States is about.
With the with what you just said there, you know, things have been crooked for a long, long time. And some of the policies that Reagan had were some of the worst I've ever experienced. When his little trickle-down economics got put into place. And you were poor, and you didn't get any richer by that. I'll tell you that much right now.
NAFTA.
Well, NAFTA was Clinton's fault.
I'm just, you know,
NAFTA should have.
You don't sit here and you're gonna word name. I'm like, you know, let me pop one of your boys real quick.
NAFTA should have never happened.
Hanukkah.
We would have been better off without it. And it wouldn't have had to been modified or anything like that, which as far as I'm concerned, that should have never happened because it was bad for the U.S. They tried to make it like it wasn't going to be. I see your big old bill passed too. I think that was this side of absurd myself, but.
Well, of course, because it was a Republican bill.
Yeah.
I mean, you would disagree with it if that thing was going to give you $1 million. You would disagree.
I might not.
You know, I mean, it doesn't matter. I know you know me.
You give me $1 million and you won't ever hear from me again.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, if that bill would have given you $1 million, you'd have been like, whoa, the big, beautiful bill. Yeah. Rock on.
I'm moving around. I'm moving to Vegas.
I'm a Republican.
Vegas, baby, here we come.
I'm a Republican now. But
Vegas, baby, here we come.
So, you know, I mean, obviously you're going to not like it. And that's
obviously
okay.
You're going to like it.
There are parts of it that I like. I actually, to be honest with you, I haven't taken the opportunity yet to research the whole thing, but I know that there's a provision in there, like right now when I'm getting some pretty good overtime to save money on my overtime. It doesn't necessarily cover all of it. And then you have these, you know, people that are making $2-3 an hour plus tips, and it's going to kind of help them a little bit. I mean, it's like I had a woman at work, and she was like, oh, I already did the math. It's going to save me like $90. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, well, but you don't work that much. You know, I'm like, I'm coming in at, 11, 12 o'clock, and I'm working till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and she's coming in at 2, talking about, I get this many hours of overtime every year. Well, guess what? Hello, I'm the new guy, and you see who they're giving the overtime to. Me. So it's going to hopefully, in the end, help me. But she's like, oh, I'm only going to get $90, which I think she's full of shit on that. But whatever.
It's just like the Social Security tax.
I mean,
that's a flipping joke.
Now,
we're not going to tax Social Security.
My trouble is the pork that got put in with that bill. I'm not sure what all the pork was, I haven't had the opportunity to research that, so I can't totally speak on it.
Yeah, they said something about not taxing the Social Security income, which is malarkey anyway, because nobody pays that anyway. You have to make over $29,000 or $30,000 a year by them, and nobody makes that. Nobody gets that much from them. At least not. I'm one of the higher paid ones because of my work from wherever I retired from, and I'm only getting 19. I think it's $19.90 for, and that's taxed by 15%. Is it going to make a whole lot of difference? Who knows? I ain't going to worry about it either way. Anyway, we got one more thing to talk about tonight. You want to cover that? Now that we're getting close.
Let's roll.
You and I talked on the phone about what was happening with the Epstein case. You're going to, by appearances with this clip I'm going to play, it looks you're going to get your normal. Oh, he's just picking on Trump. I don't want to talk about it from that aspect tonight. I'm going to give you a break. What I'd like to know is.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Glad I could help.
What
I want to know is
what we're here for.
Do these things even exist? And if so, when are we going to get to see what's in them? So I'm going to go ahead and play this thing. I hope that's what it entails, but if not, I'll just cut it and we'll talk about it after that. But we'll be right back. You're watching Radioactive. God dang it. You're watching The Art of Argument.
No.
With Dale
This is not radioactive.
Well, you're watching The Art of Argument here on the
It's me and Pat arguing and shit.
That's right. We argue.
Damn it.
That's what people tune in to hear us.
It's a fine art. A fine art, people.
Boy, if you ain't got nothing better to do. Jesus. I'll catch you in a minute. We'll be right back.
Trained for this.
President Trump brought Attorney General Pam Bondi along last night and gave her a thumbs up as he attended the FIFA Club World Cup final, even as some of his most fervent supporters are accusing her of a cover-up.
I don't think he realizes how much she's humiliated the administration. This is a self-inflicted wound. She caused it. Again, I have nothing against Pam Bondi, but if you want to look for the villain in this story, we have found her.
Over the weekend, Trump wrote that Bondi is doing a, quote, fantastic job, and told his supporters, we're on Team MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. Some of Trump's supporters are blaming Bondi for the administration's decision not to release more information related to the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, the accused sex trafficker who was found dead in his jail cell in an apparent suicide in 2019. Trump, like many other New York celebrities, had some association with Epstein. This video of Trump with Epstein is from 1992. When Epstein was arrested in 2019, Trump said they had previously had a falling out and had not spoken in 15 years. It was Attorney General Bondi who set expectations earlier this year that the DOJ and FBI files on Epstein would be released.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
But in a big reversal, the DOJ and FBI have now announced the end of their investigation, writing that a review found, quote, no incriminating client list and, quote, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed anyone, and confirming that he had died by suicide. As for that so-called client list,
I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
For years, many Trump allies, including his now FBI Director Kash Patel, pushed for the release of the government files on the Epstein case, insisting they would implicate prominent Americans in a sinister plot. Here's what MAGA star Dan Bongino, now the Deputy FBI Director, said in 2019.
The questions surrounding this alleged suicide are numerous and are worth entertaining and worth getting to the bottom of quickly.
According to multiple sources, Bongino had a heated argument with Bondi at the White House last week and has told friends he may resign. Last night, Trump said he thinks Bongino is still on the job.
Is Dan Bongino still your deputy FBI director? Have you spoken to him?
I think so. I did. I spoke to him today. Dan Bongino, very good guy. I've known him a long time. I've done his show many, many times. And he sounded terrific, actually. No, I think he's in good shape.
In his Truth Social post expressing support for Pam Bondi, Trump said that people should not waste time and energy talking about Jeffrey Epstein. But George, judging from the response to that post, it appears that many of his own supporters are not ready to take that advice.
Yeah, this does not seem to be going away. Okay, John, thanks very much.
Hey, Dale, you there?
I'm here.
I smell a cover-up.
Oh, for the first time in your life?
No, it has to.
You know, it draws me back to, you know, JFK, this, that, MLK, you know, they got killed. We know who did it, but we're not gonna. We got this guy in jail, but we're not gonna show you the shit. It's typical government. Now, if that's the way it went down or not, I don't know. Maybe there isn't a list. I mean, if you were Epstein and you had all these people coming to your home for nefarious reasons, one, you might keep a list of them in case you needed them later. But then, would you necessarily keep a list which would implicate you in all of the problems? So we got a toss-up going on.
Is there a reason you turned your cam off?
My cam is still on.
No, it ain't.
Well, the light's still blinking at me. It is shut off on the thing.
I think.
What do I need to hit?
Hey, there you are. That's better.
Yeah, I maybe accidentally hit a button and didn't realize it.
Hey.
But yeah, I didn't intentionally do it.
But
yeah, I don't know.
No.
But the whole thing sounds a little bit sketchy.
Yeah. Well, I said I wasn't going to go into the Trump side of this, but you know, I think if that ever does,
I think there's no purpose in that.
I think if that ever came out, that or the people on that list did come out, I think a lot of Republicans and Democrats would probably be screwed.
Well, they've already shown that if you wanted to get political with it, that many years ago, you know, when Trump, you see Trump and Epstein together, and they'd love to throw that up on there. He come out of that and was like, no, stay away from this fucker. Okay. And he had no more dealings with him. He barred him from Mar-a-Lago. So, I mean, Trump has had pretty much no dealings with that man since he was young, like you see. And what he did later that is coming out, that's a whole different story. So, I mean, there's no need to get political with it because, I mean, Donald Trump disavowed him long before he ever ran for president the first time. So, like I said, we don't need to get political. There's no point.
Yeah, I just think myself that if these files do exist, they ought to be released. Of course, then again,
yes, but I think
you heard her mention that she had the JFK files on her desk too.
I really do believe that The reason they're not being released, if they do exist, is the government, the way we see it, would absolutely crumble for a moment until we got new people in place, which Lord knows how long that would take, because Democrat, Republican, Independent, it doesn't matter. Some high up people were fucking around, and
That's obvious.
If that came out directly, I mean, you're looking at, you got 3/4 half to 3/4 of the frickin' Congress up on charges, and now you got to find a way to keep government moving in order to, keep the world moving. Yeah. So I think that's why we kind of, chill out on that. I mean, people want to know. Hey, I want to know. I want to know. But it's like one of those, what is it worth? Is it worth shutting down the whole country right now with all the bullshit we got going on? Is it worth that? Maybe we can get them later. Who knows? But yeah, I don't get it.
I agree with you. Well, listen to that. I agreed with you on something.
That's right. With my Steelers hat on.
We need wait a minute. I agree with Dale on something.
Oh, it's a Pat Morrow bell. It's like a weather seal bell, but different.
Want to see my little tinker? Here's my little tinkler.
Don't nobody want to see your little tinkler.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, that's frivolous.
That's definitely a TMI. Anyway, let's call this a wrap for tonight. You ready for that? We got an hour and 10 minutes. We got an hour and 10 minutes in the bag. So, we still have to discuss the fact if we're going to do the ham radio thing every other week. I've got some things in the work to try to get a couple of new podcasts on here. I've got one that the one that Dale and I were talking about. I want to resume or restart the World According to Elmer, or Elmer's World now. I think that would be a fun thing to do. With
what about Elmer?
Well, he's too busy. He told me he was busy.
Well, then you need to change the name.
Well,
you can't call it Elmer if Elmer ain't there.
Well, Elmer is in the ham.
Well, okay, in Elmer, okay.
In ham terms, it's somebody that'll help you, and that's what the idea of that show is. I will discuss that. Why don't you hang loose for a couple minutes after we shut things down?
Okay,
here.
Sounds good.
I'll be back. We'll be back over there in a minute. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Next up is next Saturday morning at 11 for the Four Guys on Sports show. And then following that will be the Radioactive show. Even with Radioactive. The radioactive people. Yeah, that's right. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be back with another Art of Argument. Stay tuned in the meantime for any announcements that I do as far as new shows, because I am working fairly aggressively on trying to talk a couple people into doing them. I'd like to get them back on the road again. And if you're listening to this podcast and you want to do you'd like to do one on your own, send me a concept and let me know what you want to do, how to get a hold of you, and we can talk about it. The address you want to send that to is office at office at crookedriverradio.com. And it hopefully it'll get to me, and I'll respond to you when I get a chance. With that all being said, you have a nice night, Dale, and we will probably
Thank you, sir.
see you all in see you in a couple of weeks, I hope. Probably sooner. Let's see, where am I here? The Art of Argument, outro. That's it. See y'all on 7-3.